Please, Shadow, I need your help. My grandfather's experiments. Something's gone horribly wrong.
What is it?
The research lab. It's going to be destroyed. Something must be done. Please, Shadow, I beg you. Help Grandfather and those aboard the Ark. Please.
No.
Okay, wake up in the morning to the clear blue sky. Turn up the music when I hop in the ride. The windows down, let the whole world see. Can't nobody rock it like little old me. I'm the bomb and about to blow up. I'm the bomb and about to blow up. I got my trucks and my dickies and I put it on black. Banging Sinatra in a flat Cadillac.
Hey, how's it going, martyrs? Now I realized that with my other discussions video, it was pretty long, like it clocked up to like over 30 minutes. So I do not want to do another discussions video that long, because first of all, there's only so much ranting you guys can take, I'm sure. And second of all, it just takes a really long time to render, like at least a couple or a few hours. Thankfully, however, YouTube has been uploading videos very quickly nowadays, and I'm very glad. I don't know how, but I'm glad. So yeah, today I'm actually going to talk about a character who plays one of, if not the biggest role in Shadow's backstory in the Sonic universe. And I was actually planning to talk about this character before Black Doom, which kinda shows my priorities quite a bit. And this character intrigues me, and the fact that she started off as something I'm like, you know what, I really like this character. Like, I was expecting her to be something else, but nah, I genuinely did like the character when she first started out. And then as the series progressed, specifically in Shadow the Hedgehog and Sonic X, I was just like, yep, she's that character. She's that kind of character, and I'll get into what kind of character in a bit. And yeah, so this is a character that kind of bummed me out, but she still intrigued me, and the fact that I think, in my eyes, she's what she started off as, something that I prefer her to be. So yeah, today I'm actually just going to go over a bit on who this character is, what she's often made out to be, what she ultimately became, why she intrigues me as a character, and also a little theory I have about her. Oh yeah, this is gonna be fun. So today we're gonna be talking about Maria Robotnik, and god damn it, this character bummed me out, Jesus, but what can you do, man? So, in case you guys didn't know, Sonic Adventure 2 is not only one of my favorite Sonic games, but one of my favorite games of all time, period. And this game is well known for producing one of the most fan-favorite Sonic characters of all time, Shadow the Hedgehog. And possibly the most important character in his backstory is Maria Robotnik. So in case you guys didn't know, Dr. Robotnik, or Dr. Eggman, his grandfather was Gerald Robotnik, who, alongside other scientific researchers, created the Space Colony Ark, an extremely advanced research facility floating above Earth's atmosphere. And Gerald's granddaughter, Maria, was stricken with a life-threatening disease, so he began Project Shadow, where he began the development of pretty much the ultimate life form, who would eventually find a cure to Maria's sickness. This resulted in the creation of Shadow, even though it actually had a huge amount of deeply varying stages, including the Bio-Lizard, which was the final boss of Sonic Adventure 2 and the original prototype of Project Shadow. But once Shadow was created, he and Maria instantly formed a very strong bond, but don't worry, it's not like Sonic and Elise in Sonic 06. No, don't worry, they were just very good friends. Maria was presented in Sonic Adventure 2 in Shadow's flashback sequences throughout the Dark and Last stories, to be just a very nice, loving, very sweet young girl who was very fond of her grandfather's research and wondered a lot alongside Shadow about what life was like on Earth. And yeah, I really like how she started off in Sonic Adventure 2, because they definitely made her not seem as much as just like, oh, oh, I'm a cute little anime girl. No, they didn't really go that route. She was just kind of like, what do you think's going on down there, Shadow? And she was just a very nice girl. She was kind of like the little girl from the sequel to Alien. Like, she wasn't like horribly annoying. She was just a very realistically interpreted. So no, I didn't have a huge problem with her. But yeah, so anyway, that's really how she started off as, and how her character really finished in that game. We didn't see her at all in Sonic Heroes, fittingly, because Shadow had amnesia, which Rouge found out at the beginning of that game, and then he really didn't know much at all by the end of that game. So Shadow the Hedgehog was made kind of for a game, kind of as a game for Shadow to go through and like what his past is, how he ends up learning who he is, and the player essentially helps him down that path. Maria ended up appearing in the first cutscene of the game, and yeah, sure, she had the big cartoony eyes and everything, but you could tell that they tried to go the Sonic Adventure 2 route. And I really liked how she was interpreted in that CG cutscene. It looked literally like Sonic Adventure 2 Maria, just better looking, just with better graphics, and I really liked that. And I began playing Shadow the Hedgehog thinking, wow, if she appears in the game, this might turn out really well. I'm gonna really like seeing more development on this character. I was wrong, because later on in the game she appears 3 more times. In the levels The Doom, Lost Impact, and then The Last Story. And I am not kidding when I say, you remember I brought up Shawa from Sonic and the Secret Rings and Melina from Sonic and the Black Knight in the Black Doom discussions video, and just how the characters arc me with how much of prototypical anime characters the two of them are. Well, Maria's not much better, I can guarantee you. She is that in a least level of just stereotypical cute anime character. And it just really bummed me out, because I'm like, they were getting to such a good character, but then the stereotypes came out, and that's all she is now. Just a sweet little girl like that clip you just saw at the beginning of the video. Shadow, you must protect the Ark, please! Just so like, I want to help you little girl, but it's just like, no, that's not how it works for me. Maybe for some people, but not me, no. You have to work your way up. So that's how she's interpreted as. And yes, as you can probably tell, when Sonic X came around and she appeared in that, yep, that's who she was, like, by the letter. And I'm just like, god damn it, you had such a good character, But yeah, so that really bummed me out. However, over time, I began to realize we did not see a lot of Maria, have we? Like, we got a little bit of her character, but pretty much all of it is in flashback sequences, minus that one sequence in the last story of Shadow the Hedgehog on the monitor. Don't worry, grandfather, me and Shadow will protect the Oak, right, Shadow? I'm just like, oh, come on, shut up. This isn't who you are. Cut that shit out, Maria. But, I began realizing we really have not seen enough of her to make that judgment. And by the way, before you ask, in the comics, nah, she's pretty much exactly as I remember her in Sonic Adventure 2, which I'm glad, because the comics did not feel like anime to me. It didn't feel like a manga. It just felt like Sonic, but in comic book form, and that does not include like Elise or Shawa or Melina. It included like the Sonic characters were exactly as I always liked them in the comics, and is why I've always really liked the comics. And yeah, when Maria appeared, she's pretty much just exactly as I really was expecting her in Sonic Adventure 2 and from the first cutscene of Shadow the Hedgehog. And you just didn't see enough of her in order to make the judgment, oh, stereotypical anime girl. Even though that's probably me saying that, because nobody else is gonna judge an anime character for being, well, you know, an anime character. It's a problem pretty much with me and maybe some other people, but I don't really know a lot of people who have those problems with anime characters. I just see anime characters as more one note, but then again, I'm biased. It's just always been a thing. I think that their personalities, I think it's mostly just how they act their behavior that people think, oh, they're very interesting and complex, when really, no, those are mostly just quirks in my eyes. Of course, you can think what you want, but for me, I just see them as a lot more one-dimensional than a lot of people think of them as. Paste Nostalgia Critic, Pokemon joke here. But anyway, so I began realizing she had a good start. She turned into something I really didn't like, but we just haven't seen a lot of her in order to make the judgment. She's just an anime character now. She's just the stereotypical, prototypical anime character now. But is that really what she has to be for the rest of the series? Because even though people obviously and understandably don't think Sonic's really going anywhere, I still think Sonic has a really good chance of going somewhere. Not just somewhere, but somewhere a lot of the fans really would like him to go in, or just the series. And, you know, I have faith, because the series has just been going on for so long, and I've been really liking what's been going. A few flops, but whatever. It's just like a Hollywood actor who hasn't made a stiff now and then. But yeah, it's just like, whatever, man. But what I actually began realizing is there's so much we could build on this character, so much more we could expand on, and I just think the series has a chance at doing that. It's not like Maria has been erased from the series. In fact, I've been loving Sonic in LEGO Dimensions, and Shadow actually references Maria a little bit in the Sonic playset for LEGO Dimensions. And I just love that Shadow line. And what better way of bringing peace to mankind than floral arrangements? Oh yeah, this is the best game ever made. I get to help Shadow set up flowers. I love that. Oh, I love that. But yeah, whatever, man. I just think that there's a lot more we could build onto this character. I do not like what Shadow the Hedgehog and Sonic X made of this character, but from the kind of games they are, you'd expect them to go in that direction with a character like her. Because I mean, she started off with the big eyes and the innocent personality, and you know, it's just something you're gonna expect from something like Shadow the Hedgehog or Sonic X. Just the anime style that you just see from those things. But I think now is a perfect time to go over one of my favorite things to talk about in these kinds of discussions. And that's what I have to add on to the series and to these characters. So I probably haven't mentioned this. I believe I have in a few comments, in the comment sections of my videos. I don't know which ones, but you can search. You can look through the comment sections. You can find a few of them. And this is a theory I have. If you played Sonic Adventure 2, you probably remember the president, who, thank God, was not Bush, who was president at the time of the game's release, you know, while he was reading a story to a bunch of school kids while Al-Qaeda was attacking New York. Jesus, man, what the hell? I know that was dark humor, but that wasn't even really a joke, to be honest. But anyway, so the president had a secretary, and, you know, she was just a secretary. She was just a very obscure side character. However, what a lot of people might not know is that there's an unlockable level theme that can be unlocked using a cheat code of the president's secretary. So you can pretty much have a secretary ordering you around the menu, and that's a really cool feature in the game. My theory is that the president's secretary is Maria, and that Maria was never actually killed at all. She was shot, but she was never actually killed. Now, you might say, oh, what kind of evidence do you have to back it up, aside from, you know, the fact that she looks like Maria? In fact, she really does look like Maria. And that would also make sense, because she looks like she could be the same age, or at least in the same age range as Eggman. But anyway, one of the biggest pieces of evidence is that there's a number of unused voice clips throughout the game's file system. And there's a set of 3 voice clips that were supposed to be used in the last story as the credits rolled. And I'm actually going to play these 3 voice clips right now to give you an idea.
There's an emergency message from the Space Bureau. They are tracking the space colony's re-entry trajectory, and it seems to have reappeared in Quadrant L1.
You know, when I was a kid, I used to dream about heroes like them and their heroic deeds.
Mr. President, That's why you should be like them. Never give up, believing in your dreams.
Well, I think I know the reason they went unused. I would have saw my goddamn eyes out. So, yeah, as you can tell, that sounds like a very Maria thing to say. So yeah, that actually does kind of act as evidence. I know it's not extremely strong evidence, but you can kind of get my point. So yeah, this was definitely much briefer discussion. I decided to cut it down a lot because, god damn it, I do not want it to be over 30 minutes long, Jesus. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I loved how Maria started out. I think she definitely could have worked as a very awesome, as a very good, fleshed out character that played a huge role in Shadow's backstory, but I really wish they did not go that anime route, because it's just like, you wanna roll with this character, but no, they just went in that direction, and that's really sad. And I know plenty of people don't really care. I think the only thing people were bothered by were her eyes in the Orca levels of Shadow the Hedgehog, where it's like, where are the whites of her eyes? It's just all pupil, and all blue, all black. Just nothing but an empty void. But yeah, it's just like, I was really bummed out about that, but that doesn't mean all hope is lost for Maria, or even the series in general. I like to stay optimistic about stuff like that. But yeah, pretty much, I really liked how she started out. She went through a very bumpy phase of just, oh, you know, anime stereotype, but there's a lot to build on that character, and as I've pointed out, I personally believe she most likely is not actually dead, and that she is the present secretary. Oh, and fun fact, you remember in the Black Doom discussion video how I talked about the concept of a third-person shooter game? You know, the one called Black Comet? Well, I actually came up with an idea of a post-credit scene where the president is talking to his secretary and actually does call her Maria by name, confirming my theory. But of course, that's just an idea, and I'm probably not going to expand on it anytime in the future. So yeah, thanks so much guys for listening. The next one is going to be on a character that I think we can all agree we all very much love, probably because he is one of the most legendary Sonic villains of all time. So yeah guys, thanks for watching, see you later, yada yada yada, ending signal.